let's move on to
Let's go.
One Piece.
Yeehaw.
So, how many of the episodes have you seen?
Of One Piece?
Yes.
I
Of
haven't watched in like months.
you haven't
I
seen
haven't
any of
seen
the
it.
Gear 5 episodes?
Nope. I mean, I've seen clips.
Dog. You didn't even like peek and be like, oh, some fake fan you are, dog. I bet you don't even like One Piece. So you don't even come
Really?
in there to be
No,
like,
actually.
hey,
Nope.
what's up? Let me see this Gear 5 shit that has been hyped up for months and months and months. And you were like, I don't care.
I,
I don't
I read the manga. I got shit to do, buddy. I got
Bro.
limited time.
I'm sorry. What are you gonna do after this?
Play Baldur's Gate 3 for
Oh,
5
that's
hours.
crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
But I
Anyway.
can't do both. I can't do both.
Okay, so Gear 5th episode came out. I just want to say, I love the idea of Luffy's new ability. I love the like. I think it fits him so well. Luffy's always been a goofy fighter. I know some people who didn't read the manga but just watched the show were like thrown off because they were expecting him to literally go like Super Saiyan, and then they saw that and they were like, "What the fuck is this?" Those people are a little silly because I'm like, "Yeah, dude, he is supposed to be goofy. That's who he is, right?" But I will say, I didn't think it was as hype as I was expecting it to be. I'm gonna be real.
I
Maybe it's
think
because all of the hype, like they overhyped it,
exactly.
but
Expectations were too high.
it wasn't anything that I was like blown away by. I don't know. Like, okay, so maybe this is the inner like Naruto fanboy from when I was, young, where I liked the cool fights.
Mm-hmm.
But like Zoro's fight was like a lot cooler to me. And I get it that we haven't gotten to the part where Luffy actually defeats him yet, right? So maybe that
Right.
part will go crazy. First of all, I don't know if you saw the complaints about the 1072 episode. I think that was the episode where it's always been a thing with One Piece, so it's not new, but like the pacing
Were they
and shit.
stalling?
Yeah, the
Or just
whole
keep stalling?
episode was just showing like essentially announcing gear fifth gear, where it was like
Like
him
him
going like
saying,
him
I'm gonna
bouncing up and
do
being
it.
like, oh my god, this is it. Like, okay, so the episode before that, you did get the little like heartbeat, and that was really sick. The drums, you at least need to go listen to the drums because the drums sound so good. But like the episode before that, it got me also really hyped because it was like it ended with like Luffy basically dead, and then the drums start playing. You hear like his chest go like doo-doo, doo-doo, and it sounds like, and it has like that cartoony bounce to it, but then there's also like the drums behind it as well. And then Zunisha's in
Mm-hmm.
the background going like, oh shit, dog, oh shit, it's about to happen. And so like that was all sick. And then the next episode is like the entire 20 minutes or 30 minutes of the episode just being him like announcing that he was about to be like this is my gear fifth, and you see him bouncing everywhere and like realizing it and all that stuff, and it's like, whoa, this is crazy. He's bouncing, all these sound effects, you get a little bit of him throwing around. I will say the second episode was a lot better than the first episode of the announcement because like once again it was just like the reaction of him being there, and they had a lot of wacky sound effects that were like, they're supposed to be wacky, right? Like
Old cartoony stuff. Yeah.
yeah, but like they were a little overdone. I saw people's complaints about it, and like I know that the manga fans are gonna be like, don't you think that this is what Gear Fifth is supposed to be? It's a Luffy, dog. He's a goofy rubber pirate man. But like their complaints are valid, especially in the first episode. Or sorry, it was 1071 is when they announced it, and he had he had like half the episode of like showing it a little bit. That episode particularly had a little too many sound effects, and like there was one part where he's spinning Kaido, like he grabs him like this, like the bear hug, and he's spinning him around. It's like three too many spins of him spinning, and you hear the same sound effect like wing, 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 and it's like, okay, can we move on? He's like wing, wing, wing. I'm just like, bro, stop. And it's like the sound effect doesn't change at all. It's putting the sound
Just
effect
copy
in
and
Premiere
pasted.
Pro and then just duplicating it like 4 times. It's like
Mm-hmm.
boing,
Mm-hmm.
boing, boing. And I'm just and it was a lot worse than that. The next episode after that was really like it had a lot more pizzazz to it. Like, you saw him fight a little more, but it doesn't. I don't know. Like it's not. I'm hoping for the episode where he like defeats him to be really hype. But so far, it's in my opinion has gone a little too much into the goofy side and not enough into the this is still Luffy fighting an emperor. You know what I mean? Like I'm hoping that at the end
Yeah.
it'll be like a combination that I was kind of expecting, where it's like, oh, he's goofy and he's messing with him, but he's also like, I'm gonna take you down, dog, and he does that stuff. Like in the end of 1072, I don't know if you can see this, but I also haven't even I started watching 1073 and I just didn't finish it yesterday, or whatever it came out.
Fake
I
fan.
just
Fake
didn't care enough.
fan.
I really was. I literally opened it up on my phone and it went to YouTube. I was like, I opened it up and I was like, oh, this is cool. And I was like, I haven't watched it. And then halfway through the episode, I was like, I'm gonna watch something else right now. Um,
Oh my
but
god.
1072 had like a really good moments where he did fight him, and at the end he was like, all right, let's go, Kaido. And he's like, I'm gonna take you down. And so that was like cool. But I don't know. I guess they really did just like overhype it. It was the Zoro fight left me speechless. The Sanji fight, it was very cool in its own way, and it was very like development to his character with also like the intricate footwork that you would expect from a Sanji fight. And then Luffy's is like, I don't know. I don't know. Like I think that's what I'm saying. I think I'm not counting it out yet. I just think that like right now we're seeing the goofy parts. It's kind of like you know what you could relate it to? You could relate it to the
Well,
fight that he had with Doflamingo, where when they first announced the Gear 4 when he was like the big bouncy man, it was a little goofy, and you're like, what the fuck is this? And you had like 2 episodes of him bouncing around and doing like really strong moves, and he like kicked around Doflamingo,
mhm,
but it was also like, oh, like this is kind of like a joke. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a joke, like, ha, he's bouncing
right.
around, he's a big guy. And then at the end, he like started kicking his ass, and he was just like, he was done for. And then like that, it got a lot cooler towards the end. But there was like maybe not 2 episodes, it was maybe like 1 episode where he like he revealed it, and then he was just like bouncing around and be like, haha, you can't hit me, I'm a bouncy boy.
I think another issue, like with Zoro and Sanji, it's like you can feel the stakes. You know, like this person is still a threat. But with
Yeah.
Goofy in Gear 5, it's like just nothing matters.
Yeah.
He can do whatever he wants.
That
And Kaido
that's a
is
good
just
point.
a fucking Kaido's just a toy he's playing with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's also why they cut away from it so much, because in the manga, it's like you see him do a couple moves and then it just moves on to another perspective really quickly.
Yeah.
You know, just to because it's like so much is going on at once. It's almost like the Hunter x Hunter, the you know the what do they call it? Like the like 20 episode stairway
Oh yeah.
saga, the stairway saga.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Because so much is going on, and it was like a couple minutes.
I will say though, one thing that I do appreciate that people pointed out was that in this episode, specifically in 1072, it is like special edition to the anime that you could consider like filler moments. But I think it does actually like add a lot more to the show than it did in the manga, where like you didn't really get too much of it. In the anime, they add a lot more Kaido dialogue, which I think really helps it, where he's like, what is this? What are you? And he's like getting frustrated, going like, why are you bouncing? What is it? You're acting like a cartoon, and we're fighting right now? Like he's getting frustrated. Like he has those moments where he's like, all right, we have a fight. And then he starts fucking twirls him around, and he hits him with the spike, and you see the spikes go through his head like the cartoon.
Mhm,
And he's just
mhm.
like, is this even a fight? He's like, come on. He's like, what is it? And I don't know if you saw that TikTok I did, but it was like, it was very satisfying, the moment where this, I feel like this was like the peak goofiness of Luffy, where he just like knocked Kaido down in like the most goofy Gear Fifth way, and he's literally bouncing on the floor because he made the floor feel like a trampoline. The whole episode's like he's bouncing all over, like he's making all the floor the trampoline. It's not even like him. I don't know if that's like you expect that, but I know some people were like, how much does he affect the outside world? But he's literally like in this throughout these episodes, you see that he's like made the entire floor like a trampoline. And so he's literally
Mhm.
bouncing on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
floor. He's bouncing on the floor next to Kaido while Kaido's laying down, reflecting on all of his decisions in his past life. Like, how did I end up here, dog? And Luffy's bouncing up and down, saying, what should I name this one? And he was like, I need to find a new way to, like, he's literally bouncing, like doing poses midair. He's like, what should I do? This like, it has to be something really cool. And he's just
Right,
bouncing
right.
next to it. That was
But
really
like he
cool.
does not care at all.
Yeah, exactly. So they have
And I
good
think
moments.
that
I don't think that like these
isn't
episodes
that
are
like
bad.
part of the isn't that like part of the ability? He just does not zero fucks given. He's just
Pretty much. You do have
what's it?
moments where he's
He's the sun god. What's the it's
Nico?
like the smiling
Joy Boy?
something joy
Joy Boy.
boy. And there's
Joy-
something about how he's just like completely carefree.
he's like the most
So
free he's ever been. Like he says that.
definitely, yeah.
He says like this is the most free I've ever been, or like I could be. He does have moments. I think in the anime it shows it a good amount. I don't remember how it was in the manga, but in the anime, there's good moments where he's like Kaido does say, "Who are you?" Like you've changed, and he said like he does have a moment where he's not like just laughing and goofing around. He's like, "Oh, I'm Monkey D. Luffy." He's like, "I'm gonna take you down and be king of the pirates." And I was like, there's my man, let's go. And like he goes back into it. And so like he does like take some stuff seriously, but like not entirely. Like, he's laughing the entire time. But like
Mhm,
he does have
mhm.
like those moments where he's like, "Oh yeah, this is a fight. Hustle up, man!" And he's ready to go. But yeah, I don't know. The episodes aren't bad. I think they have really good moments. And maybe if I saw it first in the anime, and that's kind of why I always kind of hate watching reading stuff before I watch it. I felt like when I read it, the tone was like, "Oh, he's a goofy Luffy, but he also can like step up and like take down an emperor." But in this, it was like all goofy and not enough like I don't know. It just felt I don't know. I feel like I'm complaining about it too much. I think I really did enjoy them. It's just it's not.
Mhm.
I'm hope like I okay. I think this is the best way to put it. I'm not trying to bag on it. Like I don't think it's bad episodes, but I think if it doesn't get a little better for the end of the fight, where like it actually feels like an intense moment of two emperors fighting, then I'll be a little disappointed. It can go up to where I think it's gonna get up, but so far it hasn't reached there yet. So maybe
Did
when Luffy
Kaido
takes him down
change forms yet?
to like the
Did he
hybrid
do his
form.
hybrid? Yeah.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was like
Okay, because I remember seeing him full dragon. I thought he was still just a full dragon getting like tossed around or something.
oh no,
I
he
might be
goes
wrong.
back and forth. Yeah, he's
Okay, okay.
he had the hybrid form like well before when he was fighting Luffy, like the first time he knocked
Feel
him
like
down.
there's something like past that he got. Did he like awaken or whatever? I can't remember.
No,
It's
I
been
think the
so
whole
long.
thing with Kaido is that he's never awakened his fruit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. People are talking about that a lot now, where they're saying like so some people have theories that awakened fruits might actually like negate hockey or like do something weird with hockey where like it might be just as powerful, but we won't
Mm-hmm.
know. Kaido like and the reason the person who was like the big person to say, "Oh, hockey rules all" is Kaido. But from what we've seen, Kaido's never awakened his fruit. I don't know if we know that for sure. I don't know if he's ever said that he hasn't or something has said that he hasn't. But like we've never seen an awakened fruit from him. Usually when Zoan fruits awaken, you get that ring, that cloud around them. Like Lucci has as well. I don't know if you've seen Lucci with his awakened form.
Yeah, yeah. I remember. I was thinking I must be getting because I was like I know somebody had an awakened Zoan and it was Lucci. So that's what I was thinking of. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, yeah. See, like right here, the clouds, just like Gear Fifth has.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Mm-hmm.
you'd expect to see, but we don't. I don't think we've ever seen that directly on Kaido. So a lot of people just assume that he hasn't. And apparently, that also kind of goes with the lore of what Kaido is supposed to represent, where it's like he's supposed to be like the greedy fish that like went over the mountain or something and turned into a dragon, like the old
Yeah,
legend.
yeah. Like
Um,
Magikarp and Gyarados.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
and
based off the same legend.
yeah, and it was something along the lines of like where that also like them being too greedy or something. I don't remember. Somebody put it in detail. Somebody can figure it out, but that's the last thing I remember. But I'm pretty sure he hasn't awakened it, or at least he hasn't shown an awakened form. And I'm assuming he would have showed it when he fought Luffy. So he probably just doesn't have it. And he probably that's probably why he was like, "Oh, hockey rules all. I don't need a devil fruit. I'm just gonna use this," which has been valid so far. But there also could be another part where like maybe he could awaken it. Also, another person that he has fought and has fought Garp or not Garp, Roger. I wonder if Whitebeard like awakened his fruit. He must have, right? Like he must have
Guess we'll
awakened his
never
fruit.
know. I guess we'll never know.
But I don't know what his awakened would
They
be.
took him away at his peak. They took him away at his peak. He could have
Yeah.
gone
In stage 5
and
cancer,
done
his
so many
peak.
things. Gone
No,
too soon.
I wonder I wonder what his awakening would be though. Because like
I
he
mean,
already
he already
affects the
affects
world.
everything. Yeah. So I have no idea.
Unless that hit is his awakening, I could
Because
see it being like
didn't Blackbeard like immediately do everything he was doing
pretty
after he
much. I
stole it?
don't I don't
So
think
like
he like moved the ground like he did. Like I know Whitebeard like turned Marine forward like on a tilt for a little bit. So maybe that would be his awakened form and like the normal fruit can just like make things shake. or because like I think Blackbeard all he did was like start a wave, a tsunami or something. I think. Could be wrong. Don't know for sure.
we'll
Yeah,
see.
I don't know.
I'm
I don't
sure
know what his
Blackbeard
way.
is already mastered all these fucking fruits.
Somebody, I don't know if you saw this, but somebody said Buggy's awakening. You know, they do the joke about him splitting the atom, but
Oh yeah.
what what it would be really
What a buggy
cool.
ball. What a buggy ball that would be.
It would be really cool to see him like being able to split and move everything.
Right, like he could cut other people up and
And
like throw them around.
yeah,
That'd definitely be his awakening.
which would be really cool. But it'd be really funny if Oda gave him dirty and gave him something else. Just I don't even know.
Right, just like the dumbest. Like he can't like.
He can split his
What
body
if he
even
could-
further, and that's all. Or he does something like I was like, one thing you've never noticed is that I've always split my body horizontal, but now my awakening, I
Now
can
I
split
can
them
do it
vertical.
vertical. Oh my god.
He just makes spears of his flesh.
Ew. I can't wait to see Buggy rule the world.
He's gonna
That's
do
how
it.
it's gonna end.
He's
That's
gonna
how
do
it's
it.
gonna end.
I bet that the end of the show will be Luffy actually becoming king of the pirates and everybody knows it, but the government or whoever's in charge doesn't want to report on it. So Buggy takes all the credit. Like Buggy takes the
Or
thing,
Buggy
like,
becomes the government because Luffy's like, I don't give a shit about that.
Kobe's
So then
like
Buggy,
second in command of
Jumps
Buggy.
in. Yeah.
Jesus. I'm so curious to see how Buggy plays out at the end of the show. Like he's one of the
I
most
know.
anticipated characters for me because he's gonna be goofy as hell.
We see it cut to him more than anybody.
Yeah, and like that
So
Crocodile
like
and Mihawk are
Oda,
gonna
he
be
is
with him.
definitely like Oda's favorite.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
gotta be, even if he won't admit it.
You know that Crocodile and Mihawk won't be with him at the end. Like they're gonna get taken down in one way or another. So he's gonna once
Mhm.
again be in charge of his crew. I have no idea how. It's
Right.
gonna end up.
He's gonna only have the people who don't know that he's a complete failure.
Yeah.
And then he'll probably like stumble into somehow doing something so impactful that it's gonna like push Luffy's final fight into his favor or something. It's gonna be something so stupid like
yeah. He's gonna like help him out by throwing.
he's gonna
him
like
something.
throw a buggy. He's gonna throw a buggy ball. It's gonna be a dud, and then that one lady like or whatever it is steps on it, and that's like that's gonna be it.
Jesus Christ. I can't. I hope that happens and we just like replay this and just like we're like bar for bar exactly what happens.
Listen, I'm tapped in. I have a psychic link with Oda. I know exactly what he's gonna do.
Have you been reading the manga? Have you been keeping up?
Yeah.
Bro,
I don't know if I want to talk about it because it's very distressing. I'm very distressed because they
About
keep
what?
killing all these people in their prime. First it was freaking Whitebeard. Then it was what's his name? No, Riley's. What's his name? The
Garp's alive.
No, I was getting to Garp. Garp got fucked up, right?
He got fucked up, but he's definitely still alive.
Okay.
There's no way he's
I think
not.
I read it a little too quick. I think he's this.
He got taken
season's
down, but I don't
Whitebeard,
think he's
though.
dead.
I
What?
hope not. I because he did not get to talk to Luffy and see
No.
what's going on. I think they're gonna wait till Luffy talks to him and then he's dead.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Absolutely.
'Cause he hasn't really apologized for anything, or either that, or like it will hit Luffy a lot harder than he expected. You know, like he'll
Yeah.
like maybe it'll be like a moment where like Luffy actually just starts like throwing hands. Like you think he's gonna be like whatever, Garp didn't help my brother, blah blah blah. He's just like the grandfather I always hated. But then like it actually happens and Luffy's like,
Right.
Him too?
He definitely doesn't hate Garp.
I know, but I'm just saying like I think that's
Right.
the reaction that people might expect him to be like, or maybe not hate him, but like people might think he's indifferent to him. But I think it would actually hit him really hard.
I think so too. I think it'd be another ace level, like going Monkey D crazy.
Or were you saying
That's
that?
gonna be his next form. Monkey D crazy.
Who did they take out in his prime?
Whitebeard.
I
I
was
was
said
trying
somebody
to. I
else.
was
You
trying to
said-
continue. I
you
was trying
said-
to continue the joke. Riley is fine. Rayleigh,
Really?
whatever, however you pronounce it. There was somebody Kuma. Kuma got murked, but he's somehow back, and then he's not, and then maybe he is. I'm just trying to think of all the old people they've killed because there's a bunch.
Yeah, they're all gonna die. they're all done for, man. They're not making it.
Oh, and then Vivi. We don't know what's going on with Vivi. That's stressing me out quite a bit.
well, she's like outside the island.
Right, she's just gone right now. But I want to know where she is. And I want to.
She's right outside
I just
Egghead.
need her to be safe.
She's right by Egghead.
Huh?
She's right by
Is
Egghead.
she?
Yeah.
Oh my God! She's stowed away.
She's in
Oh,
the
fuck.
bird. She's in the bird.
I forgot.
Which is
Yeah.
why I'm so happy because like we might get them reunited and it would make me so happy.
God, I was like, my brain. I hate that it's like I can remember like half of a chapter
yeah.
because there's so much shit going on. You know what I mean?
I feel
There's
like
too many freaking spoons in the stew.
you know what I'm realizing? I think me and you have the exact opposite problems. I think you take everything in and you like react very heavily to like like half of the stuff because that's like you only being able to register how much that you took. I feel like I can
Mhm.
remember everything, but I don't even like think about the repercussions about it until like much later, until I'm talking to somebody else or I'm watching a YouTube video about it. And they're like, yeah, and then this happened, right? And I was like, oh my God, that did happen. Oh my God. And I was like it's like I'm not even registering what I'm like reading. Like I can remember, I can
Right.
tell you everything. But like afterwards, I'm like, I don't even like take into consideration like what I just watched. One thing I did
Mhm.
take into consideration though, that like I did realize how badass it was at the end of not the last chapter, but the chapter before that, when it cut to the crew, and the whole chapter was just like buildup of like the weapon they used and the everything is happening out in the world, and it cuts back to the crew, and they just like skipped over them defeating the enemies because they were like, who cares? This is an emperor's
Yeah,
crew. Who gives
yeah.
a fuck? You know that they're gonna be here, and they're all just chilling, dog. Like Sanji's already in his
It
simp
was
mode.
such a fucking sigh of relief. Oh, thank God they're finally back. Thank God,
Yeah,
because it's been months since we've seen them. I feel like,
yeah, but
and then
I love the way
I
it
think
is.
there's gonna be I think it's just gonna be a flashback to what a couple. They're gonna skim over what happened, but they're definitely gonna go back and show how they got that little turd. You
I
know?
don't think they will because I feel like they've already did a good job of explaining how it happened, you know? Like I feel like
Yeah.
it's kind of like the thing of when you watch a movie and they're like, "Hey, what's up, Bob? You know me, your best friend since 3rd grade. How are you doing?" It's like that where it's like what was his name? Kaku when he was like, I'm exhausted. I mean, I know we did take on 2 Seraphim, but I'm still exhausted after that. Like he was letting you know. He's like, I know we did fight them and defeat them, right? But I'm so exhausted right now. Like he's like letting you know. And the same thing
Yeah.
with that one Seraphim when Boa Hancock. He's like, "Oh, thank you for unpetrifying them. That means so much to me." And then she like freaks out over Luffy and it's like, yeah, okay, so they just let us know what happened and how like some of the things that maybe you just weren't maybe one some of the things that you were questioning, they like let you know and it's like, "Oh, if you're wondering about how we got them unpetrified, yeah, she's in love with Luffy." And like if you're
Like, of
wondering
course
about the
she'd be.
Seraphim, yeah, they
Yeah.
just kicked their ass, you know? I
But
one thing they do have to
I want
visit.
to see the fights though, because it would have been cool.
I think the next fights are going to be even cooler, TBH.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I think like Oda's just like in his final arc back, so like he doesn't have time for those like little
We don't
fights
have to do the
anymore.
petty shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a prediction about the anime. They're gonna go through
Oh,
all of the petty shit.
that's fine. If they speed up the pacing and do that shit, that's fine. Give us the filler. I want once again, just give us filler. We don't need to ruin the episodes with like a whole episode of announcing Gear Fifth. Like, just cut it down, dude. But what I was gonna say was that they probably are gonna come back to Kuma and his backstory because they just completely
God,
flipped
I
out of that.
can't wait.
But
I
they're definitely gonna
can't
show
wait.
that. Okay, sorry. I
I'm
just
a
want to say
backstory bitch. I love when they get into somebody's traumatic past.
I do, except for like the enemies when they do that shit. Sometimes I get really annoyed by that.
Really, I love that the most. I
Oh,
love
I
to
kind of
see how this little fuckhead gets so fucked up. I love it.
I think it's
It's
worse
amazing to me.
when it was in the anime, to be fair. So I feel
Mhm.
like in the anime, I don't know how it is in the manga most of the time, but in the anime, it's like because it's already the pacing's already rough, and they do the whole like reaction, all the like scenes and everything like that. When I was watching through the anime, sometimes I'd be like, all right, then we get to this fight, and it's like a whole episode of these two characters that I don't care about fighting, and we have to learn about everything that's happened ever in their life. Like specifically the one chapter that I or the one arc that I always say was the only one that like genuinely pissed me off, and I was like, I'm so done with this dude. Can we move on? Doflamingo, Dressrosa. That was rough. I promise you, I've told you this before. I did not watch most of the fights at the end of that arc before it got to Luffy. They had
Yeah.
like his whole grand fleet that I know you're gonna be like, but that's his grand fleet. You're supposed to know all this shit. I don't give a fuck, dog. I got so annoyed where it was like every single new thing, like every single like floor of that castle, and it was like, oh, we have this jacket guy and his best friend since childhood. You want to know how we got together? And it was like, oh, then we're fighting this one guy from Doflamingo's squad. You want to know how he is a bull man, and it's just like I can't do this anymore, man. Like I was so tired with the pacing of that arc to begin with, and then we had to go through like
Yeah.
every single fight of people I just didn't even remember their names.
Reading it wasn't bad, but also I don't give a shit about people's names. I'm just like, oh, that guy. It's just like Luffy, how he's like, oh, Pineapple Head. I'm like, yeah, Pineapple Head. He's here. Awesome.
Speaking of that, I feel like I relate to Luffy when it comes to the backstory sometimes.
Where he's
Like,
just like sitting there picking his nose.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
okay, can we get started?
He's like, yeah. He's like, let's start. You want to know why I got here and why I hate the pirates so much? He's like, no, I don't care. Let's just fight. He's like, no, I don't. He's like, why
Right.
would I
He's
want to
like,
know that?
you took a cellar stick from an orphan. I'm gonna kill you.
Oh, and a lot of people have
Oh,
theories
stupid.
that I don't understand. I feel like there's two downplays going on in this new arc that are upsetting me a little bit. And it's one that they think that Luffy's next step is to defeat an admiral. And I don't, in my opinion, I feel like that's a downplay because first of all, Yonko's stronger than an admiral. I don't know why people think that he's not. They're not, but they are. Like a Yonko
Hmm.
went to attack the Marine fort, and they had 3 admirals and all the 7 warlords there, and like it was still like a really tough fight, and like the Yonko was like taking out Whitebeard was like destroying Akainu, and the only reason he and like don't get me wrong, if it was 2 admirals, he'd probably lose, but like 1v1 is like not even a thing.
Right. I think those are all gonna be put on the crew, and Luffy's just gonna. It's just gonna be the thing where the crew is just like, I got this one. I got this one. I got
Yeah.
this one. And then Luffy goes all the way to the top.
Yeah, so like there's a downplay there where they think the next step is Luffy to take on an admiral, and I get it because like narratively speaking, the admiral is the same admiral that took out his crew when like they were in Sabaody. So like he might want to like throw them
He
hands.
is gonna have to beat down Akainu. I definitely.
No, no, oh yeah, Akainu, yes, but I'm talking about Kizaru right now and Egghead.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I feel like that's a downplay on him, and that's a downplay on his Zoro and Sanji because they're saying like, oh yeah, but there was one guy specifically, it might have been Grand Line Review, but he said, "Oh, I just think
The
like of
king.
course, like the next step is for Luffy to take down the admiral. The commanders of Luffy should take down an admiral before Luffy takes down an admiral." And I was like, "Aren't we past this? Like we're in the final saga. Luffy is taking down a Yonko. Why is it that big of a deal that he has to take down an admiral?" And it's like, and are you downplaying that Zoro and Sanji together cannot take down Kizaru? Because I feel like they definitely can. I feel like it would be a really good fight to watch too, to see I was gonna say Naruto. To see Zoro and Sanji team up and fight an admiral would be the fucking most badass thing. And then the other
Hmm.
side of that downplay is that a lot of people aren't taking Saturn as a real threat, which I don't know how powerful he's gonna be, but like
Oh my
he
god. Sorry, my mic got murked.
it sounded like your mic fell down like stairs. You were like, hold on, wait. But yeah, so like I don't know exactly how powerful Saturn's gonna be, but I feel like he's gonna be a threat because once again, you've heard people talk about like how the fact that like um the second Sabo saw the elders transform, he immediately got like terrified that it was gonna happen, and then one of them hit him. Actually, we don't know for sure if that's him, if that was them or Emu that hit him, but somebody hit him in
Right.
that room and stabbed through him. Sabo, the big boy of the Revolutionary Army, who has hockey and a devil fruit of all, but they still. So like I feel like we're not giving enough credit to the fact that Saturn could be a big final boss that somebody needs to take care of, and then also that Luffy needs to take down an admiral because that's his next step. When I feel like Yonko surpassed that, and I feel like the next better step. And maybe Saturn isn't going to be stronger than Luffy or like that much of a challenge, but maybe Saturn has a lot more
Yeah.
narratively to deal with Luffy. Like talking to him, maybe he gives him some
Hmm.
information. Maybe he does some stuff that Luffy
I
doesn't
also
expect.
I also think like that's putting rules on the game that I don't think Oda really gives a shit about.
No,
Like
yeah, he
he
doesn't
already
care.
says, like, I don't care about expectations. I don't care about what other people are doing. I just want to make something fun.
Yeah,
And if he can make Luffy killing an admiral fun, he's gonna do it. But it's not like it's guaranteed. It's not like he's doing this formula.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Which he kind of is, but it's like one that he made. You know,
yeah.
he's there's no reason for him to push that. There's
Which
there's no expectations, I think.
once again, if you follow the formula, I feel like Saturn's definitely the guy that Luffy should take on at the end, because I feel like a lot of times the commanders, or like like if they're not Yonko, like somebody in second command is the one who like goes to fend the crew off at first, and they're like, oh, this
Hmm.
guy's kind of a baddie, and then yeah, maybe Luffy might throw hands with them for a little bit, but then eventually, like you said, the crew will be like, oh, we got this, we can take care of this. You got to go face somebody else. And he's like, "Yep, gotta go take on the big baddie." So like that makes sense that like Kizaru will like come over and like mess with the crew, and then Luffy's like, "All right, this is a tough guy. We know this, but I gotta go fight the other person." Everybody's like, "Yep, we get it. Go fight the big one. We'll take care of this guy." So I don't know. It just makes sense that Kizaru's gonna fight, and like I just genuinely think that a fight with him, with his speed feats and everything, that would be insane to go up against Zoro and Sanji. Like tag teaming together. Oh,
Yeah.
that would be so
Hmm.
sick. And
Hmm.
I'm so excited to see a freaking awakened Logia, because we still have yet to see that. That's gonna be insane. And like not only because a lot of people theorize that it's like affecting the environment around them and all that stuff, just like how Akainu and the other one fought and changed Punk Hazard forever. What the hell is Kizaru gonna do when he like awakened his light fruit? Is he
Yeah,
gonna
I don't know.
blind everybody? A flashbang from Call of Duty and everybody's blind forever?
I don't
Right?
know, because it's like the whole awakening idea doesn't work for all fruits the way you think. So he might have to adjust it, I think, because
Well,
well, the thing is, we don't know. We don't know everything. We don't know. It could awaken in a different way than just affecting the environment. You know what I mean? It could
yeah.
just be like a huge power boost or something. Who knows?
You could suck the light out of the world.
Right. It could be like he gets like a negative effect where he just plunges the world into darkness.
Ooh.
Like he has
Um,
complete, or he could probably like go invisible or refract light. I don't know. I don't know.
wait, that could actually be kind of insane, because with the Akainu and why am I forgetting his name? The freeze guy, Akainu,
It's
Kizaru,
uh
and
Aokiji.
Aokiji. Yeah. With the Akainu and Aokiji fight, what if we could be onto something? What if everybody thinks that it's just affecting the world around them, but instead they actually suck up all of the heat or all of the freeze, like the cold air around them, and it does the opposite effect, where it made like all of it turned into like heat and lava and stuff. Or maybe that's just stupid, but it'd be interesting though. Like you said, there's no rules, so we don't truly understand, but it would be pretty interesting if like right now we think that like obviously Akichi started the freeze and Akainu started the heat and everything like that, but what if it was the opposite? What if they did like, you know, kind of crazy, kind of
Yeah, it's a
cool.
lot to think on, especially since I just made it up on the spot.
Yeah.
I had zero thought. I just blurted it out, and that's just how my genius works. You know?
Yep. You're so smart. All right. I think that's enough for today. I think that was a good
You think so? You're
amount.
sick of me?
Yeah. I'm glad
Okay.
you said it. I didn't have to say it out loud.
Listen, man. I'm very empathetic. I understand.
Good.
I can't get away from me.
You have to disassociate
Escape.
with Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes, where I'm a paladin, dragonborn. Nah, I can't say much more because they're spoilers. But
What did
yes.
you think I care about spoilers? There is something where
Well,
my
the our adoring fans. I don't want to
oh,
spoil it.
yeah, might be. There's something where they were like listing off their roles in Baldur's Gate, and I just said it's like, oh, I'm a swaggy sailor.
What? That's just somebody hardcore role playing, which is like part of the fun.
So I'm trying to do, dog. Anyway,
So you want to be a wolf man? I can make that happen. We'll mod you up, buddy.
we could do that
We can get
IRL. Did I tell you that I went to an anime convention?
what?
Did we add this
Are we gonna
in?
have to save this for the next episode?
Yeah. We should.
We should.
All
We
right.
should.
Yeah. Okay.
As long as you
Anyway,
can remember everything,
I will. Anyway, but I just need to remember to like actually talk about it. But we'll
write
end
it
this
down
here.
somewhere.
All right.
Weep shit.
And we're done.